What's up, Lucky Gamers? It's Lucky Lex. I know it's been a while since I've made a character guide. I've been really enjoying making the Let's Talk and just really helping people out for the future. You know, we've been doing showcases and stuff in the live streams. But today we're going to be talking about Satsuki, right? For the Petrify team. We already talked about Druvis. We're going to talk about Satsuki because a couple people were asking me about her. So we're going to go ahead and get her out the way. So let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so we have Satsuki here. She is a plant DPS who is with the control tag. That is right, because she's able to get petrification out. Right, so petrify team is really good for control. You're mainly gonna see it like in some of your stages, possibly Utu, Limbo stages with like multiple enemies, enemies that can be CC'd. Right, we all know that petrify doesn't work in the best cases, and the reality characters break it, but it's still really good where it can shine, right? So let's go ahead and look at her ult. Single target attack deals 600% mental damage and inflicts 2 stacks of rigidity. Anyways, just rigid, right? We just call it rigid on the target. When there are 2 stacks, turns into petrify status or extends the duration of existing petrify status for 1 round. So this is able to extend the petrify, which is why she works so well with Druvis, because Druvis can apply straight up petrify and then she can extend it. Also, she has a 600% mental damage ult. It's really nice. Honestly, quite a bit of single target damage, especially in the plant DPS realm, right? So handcuffed thief at level 1 is going to be a single target attack, deals 220 mental damage. When you level it up, it does different things, right? So at level 2, deals 250 and inflicts 1 stack of rigid on the target. And then at level 3, it inflicts 2 stacks of rigid and does 380% mental damage. So this is another way that you can get those stacks if you can maximize leveling up this skill, right? And I also have a theory of who's a good character to work on this Petrify team that I think you guys will be excited for. Dancer of Izu, mass attack deals 120% mental damage to 2 enemies. This attack enjoys penetration rate plus 30%. As you upgrade it, does 180. Upgrade again is 300%, right? So let's look at our insights. Insight 1: when the caster enters battle, inflicts 1 stack of rigid on all enemies. Only triggers 1 time. When the caster dies, inflicts petrify status on the enemy with the highest attack for 2 rounds. On Insight 2, she gets penetration rate. Then on Insight 3, attacks against enemies with rigid or petrify, enjoys penetration rate. When the caster is attacked by enemies with rigid status, damage taken minus 15%. So she gets a lot of penetration rate in her kit, a really crazy amount for attacking enemies with this rigid status. And then she's able to receive less damage as long as they have this. So if you can kind of cycle that rigid status for her, she'll be able to take less damage, right? And then remember, petrify dispels the effect after taking reality damage, right? And they cannot act. So you got to make sure you build your teams properly, right? With her portraits, portrait 1, oh, my bad. The ult's probably 550. At P1, she has 600%. And then the abilities probably do less because I have P2. This enhances her abilities. P3 enhances her ult again. P4 gives her a 40% penetration rate. And then P5 gives her a 750% mental damage. So if we're talking like P5, Satsuki actually becomes a decent character. And I can talk about P5, P3, and all that on 5 stars because you'll eventually get it, right? This is, again, a single target ult. It's not as much as like the Cure and Bloom, but it's another option. You know what I'm saying? The single target ult that you can use to where, like, if you don't have a max Cure and Bloom, you end up having like a max Satsuki, you can do a decent bit of damage, especially if you can pump up her stats. Because like a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, hey, like, so if I don't get Jessica, like, what other options do we have? So you have Satsuki, you have Cure and Bloom, and you got Anna and Lee. So I do want to show these other plant options to people. Now, when it comes to the Resonate, I know I don't have her built out. There's a lot of characters. But what I can do is give you guys a little tip here. So in my Discord, I really want everybody to join the Discord. I have a guide for Resonance. It's done by Sleepy and Yundere. I've talked about it a lot. There's a guide there, and you can actually select the character that you want, right? So we can go in here to Jesus, man. Satsuki, and we can see a build that we would want, right? And you can just plug that in. I was helping another streamer, letting them know, hey, I got all this in my Discord. And so this really helps you out to where you can do either a crit hit build or attack build, which I would be doing an attack build once I get her built up, right? Just going to take me a while. Yeah. Now, when it comes to Psychubes, right, she is a single target character who is going to want to use her ult quite a bit. And, you know, she has decent, like, skills, but her ult is the strongest part of her kit. So I would recommend, like, you know, having Luxurious Leisure. Of course, you can use, like, Brave New World on her. When it comes to Blasphemer of Night, with Rigid and Petrify on the enemies, I believe she can use Blasphemer of Night. Please let me know down in the comment section. But it gives Incantation Might, so I still would rather use LL or B&W to kind of help boost her ult damage, right? And then you still have others if you like. You could use his Bound in Duty. The other one that gives Incantation Might and stacking ult. I haven't used it yet, but that's a decent one. But yeah. But let's go ahead and try to showcase her in a battle, right? Let's see what grass. Let's do a little lower since we don't have them all built. All right, so we're gonna do a teams that she works well with, right? I always forget to do those. So when we have Satsuki, obviously Druvis is gonna pair really well with her. Druvis has Petrify in her kit. Satsuki is able to, you know, turn that over. So they work really well together. So with having this, now you have like a DPS support kind of thing going on where they're 2 DPS, but they're also supporting each other. So when it comes to 3-man content, you're obviously going to need to use a healer. So if you're doing the crit build, you can do Tooth Fairy if you want. You know, for if you're building a full plant team, you can do Sow the Bee. You know, you have your Source. You got Med Pocket if you're going into straight attack build. Because if you don't want to do crit, Med Pocket will be the better healer there, right, for that team. But as of to make this easier, let's go ahead and set up the team. Also, I do have a theory for 4-man content. Yes, I was going to tell you guys. Being that these guys use debuffs pretty heavy, and Satsuki likes to have her abilities upgraded to at least level 2 or higher for the rigidity. 6 is a good option to use on this team. And when 6 gets closer to global, I'll start showing a lot more of him. But him giving the Empower Incantation to Satsuki would really help her out in getting that rigid out. So this is something to think about for your 4-man team. Now it does ruin, you know, him getting the I3 for the plant, but it just adds on some little extra because it'll just be a huge debuff heavy team. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and just throw in Tooth Fairy here because I literally haven't used her because I'm still salty about her. But, you know, that's my own personal thing. I'll just throw in literally whoever.
Shall I ask the enemy for their tactics?
Okay. Let's go ahead and give her Inquisitive Deer. Druvis, we'll just give her hers. Alright, so let's go into this battle. Alright. So, with using the characters, you want to know how they're used, right? So it's either going to be building Moxie with Satsuki, right? So you can get the rigidity or getting the level 2. And then with Druvis, applying the Petrify. Now you do have to be mindful of the enemies that you're fighting if they can actually be petrified, because that kind of puts a big part into it. But we're going to go ahead and just clear them out. This is kind of, it's like a makeshift little team here. Nothing crazy. Yeah, these characters really like level 2 on their skills, though. Alright, so we're gonna do that, do that. We're probably just gonna kill these more than actually like petrify them. Probably have to do, unfortunately, some harder content. Alright. So we're gonna do. Alright, so now we have the ability to do the rigid. We're gonna ult, do this here. And we're gonna put more stacks on her. I do love Druvis. I want to use Druvis more. I want to do more of this team. So I might do a on stream for sure limbo run for you guys with this team. By the way, that was a good bit of damage, right? Let's go ahead and do. So she's petrified. We're gonna go ahead and increase the stacks there, and we'll take out the enemy. Let's see AoE. I think this is the target one. The Satsuki on a crit wouldn't be too bad, honestly. I don't even have their Moxie built out. Might actually build in with crit. Doesn't seem like it would be the worst idea, you know? And this boss is just kind of petrified the whole time. Yeah. So that was kind of a Druvis and Satsuki. I really didn't want to complete that, but it's fine. So that was really like a Druvis and Satsuki kind of showcase. But it's how they work together, because you can petrify with Druvis and then with Satsuki help refresh that petrify. There's not a lot of characters in the game that can like refresh debuffs, right? Like you can reapply them, but to like help keep them up and refresh them, like not a lot of characters, which a lot of people are saying they want to see that. Somebody who can like refresh debuffs just to make it easier and cycle them better, right? So hopefully we see something like that in the future. But I hope you guys at least got to see a little bit of Satsuki kit. Maybe you're unsure. And again, it's kind of looking at her damage. Absolutely see her as being somebody you can use in a limbo, because she's plant, she does good single target damage. Again, is if you can petrify the boss, then there's literally no reason that she wouldn't be a great option to use, right? She's limited in what she can use, but if you really like the team, then there is a future for it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I just wanted to do, a quick little video to show, because I know I've done the crit team, I know I've done the poison team, and this is the petrify. This is like, these two are the petrify team, and you have like, again, whatever healer. And when I I3 them, it'll be able to show the power a lot more. So this is the petrify team for now. And then as the game progresses, this team will actually get better, I believe, with having 6 on the team to really help out in that empowering incantation. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. You lucky gamers, have a good one. Lucky Lugs out.